Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my 2015 Camaro SS with the LS3 engine. This can be the same engine that is found in the 2010 through 2015 Camaro SS, whether it's the L99 in the automatic cars or the LS3 in the 6-speed manual cars. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, although I would love to be sponsored. If you would like to sponsor this channel, please feel free to contact me. All the products, items, and tools that I'm using today are just my personal preference of what I like to use on my car. I was a tech for about 3 years, so I do have some mechanical experience. This is just what I feel is the best for my car, so I want to treat it good. It's a very easy oil change on these cars. All you need is a ratchet of your choice. Today I'm using the 3/8 Pittsburgh Pro ratchet, 15mm socket, and you don't necessarily need these, but they make life a lot easier. It's an oil filter wrench. Highly recommend that as well. And that's it. Now we have to get it up off the ground. Today I'm using my Daytona 3-ton low profile jack with my Autocraft jack stands. Alright, for our product today we're going to be using Mobil 1 full synthetic oil. The weight is 5W30 and holds 8 quarts. This stuff's great and it's also GM approved. And for our oil filter, we're going to be using an AC Delco part number PF48. This guy right here. And my additives I'm going to be using today are VP Racing Fuels Mattitive Fuel System Cleaner. That goes in the gas tank. Liquimoly Anti-Friction Oil Treatment, which goes in the oil. Additives aren't really necessary, but I just believe it gives it that little extra edge. Okay, let's start that oil change. Step 1 is going to be to come over into your vehicle and find your engine hood latch right here. Pull that. Also make sure the car is in gear or in a parking gear. Handbrake up so it doesn't roll when we jack it up. On these cars the switch is right here. You're going to pull to the right and up. And there we see the almighty LS3, which needs a bath. But first we're going to remove the oil cap. We remove the oil cap so that way it relieves pressure so it drains quicker. I always kind of pull the dipstick up to remind me that it's got no oil in it once we come back. And that is step 1. Step 2 now is going to be to jack the car up. We're going to slide our jack under. I usually like to lift right here where the front bumper fender, I guess, and the door meet. Bear with me as I get under here to show you the lift point. Okay. These are pinch weld cars, as is pretty much every newer car. So see this little lip, like right in here? They kind of have a little cutout in the side skirt here where you can see where you're supposed to jack. That's a very safe point. We're going to actually jack it a little bit further down. That way we can place our jack onto this point, as you are about to see. Going to get our jack pad into position and slowly start increasing jack. You want that pinch weld to be right in the middle of the pad for even weight distribution. There we go. I'll let you get a little closer look at that. See, like right smack in the middle. And now the fun part, jacking it up. Bear with my squeaky jack. Alright, now that we got it about, I don't know, a foot up on the ground, not too far. I think that's a good height right there. Put it right on that area I showed you earlier. And slowly lower. And we're good. Alright, I take just a little bit of weight off, but not much, just to where it's got a little bit. Go ahead and give the car a little wiggle. Make sure it's not going anywhere. That looks pretty good. We're still right in the middle. Now I can lower my jack. Now all we got to do is the other side. Now that we got that in place, on the other side, I'm going to leave my jack right here just as a backup in case these stands were to fail. Now that is very unlikely. You're going to be pretty safe under here if you do it correctly. This is just a peace of mind that I like to do. Also with these SS cars, the tires are staggered, so that means that the front size is smaller than the rear. So tire rotations are not necessary. We'll just be checking tire pressure today. Some brake clean's also nice to use to wash off the oil that splatters everywhere. That and a rag. Again, not necessarily all that important or necessary for the oil change. I do like to use a creeper just to make life a little bit easier. And the jug we're going to be using today is just your average jug, you know, from a parts store. I took the drain cap off, and you're going to make sure this purge valve is open or else the oil won't drain properly. Make sure your drain cap's tight and you're good to go. Now we're going to lube up our O-ring. Let's go ahead and get some oil on your finger. Slide it around the rubber O-ring. Just kind of all over the certain mating surface. And you're good to go. We're going to find the drain plug on the driver's side of the engine pan. That is your first pan. Manual transmissions do not have a reservoir, but automatic transmissions do. So make sure it's the most forward-facing drain pan. Oil filter will be right behind the drain plug, making for a very easy to get to oil change. Alright, now we're going to take our ratchet, get it on there nice and tight, make sure we're going lefty-loosey, and go ahead and open it. Just slightly, don't go ahead and take it all the way out, just enough to where you can spin it by hand. Be careful, it might still be hot, as I just found out. Yep, perfect. As it's draining, it's good to inspect the oil and look for, God forbid, any sparkly little bits or anything metallic. If you have a magnet, that's great. My drain plug doesn't have a magnet, although I still do an inspection. It does look pretty good, thankfully, so my LS3 is in healthy condition. So as our oil slowly finishes draining, my drain bucket's not happy today, but it'll eventually drain. Let's go ahead and do our inspection while the oil is draining. So I'm going to start with the front. We're going to look at the frame, probably the most integral part of the car. Make sure there's no rust, pockets, or holes, gouges, anything. Front subframe looks great. Let's look at our electric power steering on the 13, 14, and 15 cars, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Electric steering pump looks great. No leaks. Radiator looks great. No leaks. Trans cooler looks great. Belts look to be in great condition. I don't know how well you can see on camera, but I can see pretty good. They look great. Tie rods look great. Stabilizers, shocks. Wheels got no bends. Brake lines aren't leaking or disconnected. Same thing on the other side. Looks great. Radiator hoses look good. Pulleys look great. No leaks on the engine, besides the one we just made. Look good there. So now we're going to do a tire tread depth inspection. Got this little guy here, he's pretty cool. You stick him up, find your tread, push down. Let me do that again. And then you look on your 30 seconds. So, trying to get this to stabilize. Bear with me. I don't know how well you can see that. But, you got little lines on here. I am at 8:30 seconds, so these are relatively new tires, so they shouldn't be too low. I don't know how well I can save for the rears. I don't know why these would be going away a little bit quicker than the front. Burnout. Yep, 7:30 seconds, so that's normal. $7:30 seconds as well. And 8:30 seconds up front. So we are wearing evenly all the way around with the rears just a little bit more. I don't know why. Now would be a good time to go ahead and inspect and set tire pressure if you have a air compressor and a tire gauge. But I've already done that a little earlier this week, and my TPMS sensors are saying I'm at 32 all the way around, so I'm good to go. I'm sure you know valve stems are here. Hopefully you know if you're watching my video, but if not, that's okay. We all started somewhere. So now that our oil's at a drip, we're going to reinsert our drain plug. Righty tighty. Alright, that's hand tight. Let's go ahead and give it a nice stug. Nothing too crazy, just enough to where it's tight. We're good. Now we are going to hose it off with some brake clean. Go ahead and double check drain plug's tight. More hose off. Drain plug is done. Now we're ready for disassembly of the oil filter. Let's go ahead and take this thing off. Now this is the messy part, so be ready. It's gonna leak. I go ahead and get it pretty loose. Let that drain. And just slowly keep spinning it, get it to drain a little bit more, just until it stops dripping. Looks like we're done draining now, so go ahead and remove the oil filter. Be careful, there's still some oil in the housing, so set it down gently into the pan. There we go. Now we're going to take our new oil filter that's already been lubed up. Make sure the old O-ring is off, and it is. You're going to look for this silver part right there. If there's black on it, make sure you get that O-ring off or you'll have a massive leak. Or you can just check on the old filter. But we're good to go. No O-ring up there. We have the fresh O-ring on this filter. Let's go ahead and slide it on. There we go. We'll get that nice and hand tight. Alright, and we'll tighten the rest of it with our tool, just gently. After we make sure it's tight, we're going to clean it off real good. Wait till that brake clean turns pretty clear as it just did. And then we are good to do our final inspection, make sure everything's tight, and then pull everything out. Now we're going to add our oil. I like to start out with 1 quart of the 530, put my additive in, and then the remainder of my oil. Now all we're going to do is just pour the remainder of the oil. Now that we're done draining, let's go ahead and take the funnel back out. Back where it belongs. Go ahead and put our oil cap back on. Dipstick down now that there's 8 quarts of oil in it. And I'm going to go inside and freshen up, wash my hands before I get inside the nice interior of my Camaro. Let's go ahead and make sure the car's in neutral. Go ahead and start. Alright. While that's running to cycle the oil through for the final oil level check, we're going to use our menu button right here to scroll over to vehicle information, enter, scroll over to oil life, reset. Now we're at 100%. Let's go ahead and shut the car off and go check the oil. Do a final inspection under the vehicle to make sure there are no leaks. In this case, we are good. Let's go ahead and take our dipstick out and wipe off, and then you'll reinsert it and then check the final level. Our oil level is in the hash marks, so we are good to go. So lowering the jack is going to be the same, just reverse order of what we did before. We're going to jack it up just a hair to get it off of the jack stand. Pull the jack out and slowly lower. Make sure everything's clear under. And repeat on the other side. Let's go ahead and wipe everything off. Make sure we got all residual oil off. We didn't make too much of a mess this time, so I'd say we are good to go. Go ahead and do any sort of final check over that you would want. I still have to add my fuel system cleaner to the gas tank once I fill it up. But other than that, go ahead and make your oil sticker if you want to do that. But other than that, you're done. This is a very easy job that you can easily do at home. And it's kind of fun to be able to work on your car a little bit and know the quality of the work that goes into it. Until next time, guys, take care.